All right, guys, welcome back to the Game Trail Podcast. I'm back from Vegas. I had a successful week down there at the Vegas shoot, and by success I mean I successfully got 90 arrows downrange. I'm going to call that a win.
That's a win because there were some people who didn't get all 90 downrange.
That's true. Well, the previous year I didn't, so
Oh, yeah.
that's a lie. Actually, I still got that arrow downrange. It just didn't hit my bail.
Yeah, no, that happens.
Yeah, so there's a story in that we could probably touch on here in a sec, but I want to recap kind of my trip to Vegas, and also I reached out to Towson Jenkins. He shot Vegas. I've kept up with Towson for a long time, Wyoming guy, and kind of followed him on social media. But I think this weekend's the first time I've ever actually had a chance to, sit and shoot the bull with him. So he was nice enough to jump on the podcast with me today. So we're going to run through kind of his experience and mine. I guess before I get going, I do have to hit a couple promo codes. You guys can use the promo code GameTrail and you want to sign up for a GOHUNT Insider account. You can get $50 back in the GOHUNT Gear Shop. We also have a promo right now if you want to sign up for Insider Plus, which is that next level subscription service that we offer. Will take care of all your apps, personal hunt consultants. If you guys want to sign up for that, we'll actually give you $200 back in the GOHUNT Gear Shop. So there's still a lot of applications that are up in the air. So if that's something that would pertain to you, don't hesitate to jump on and use that promo code. Also, I got to shout out Matthews. Matthews Archery is a sponsor of the podcast. Those guys make great bows. I think Towson and I were shooting pretty much the same bow.
Almost identical.
Literally. Yeah.
I think the only difference was about colors.
Yep. You're so mine's the Kodiak brown, but you have different colored limbs, right?
Yeah, I had the bottomland limbs. So
gotcha. And I've got black limbs. Your draw length's a little bit longer than mine, which I want to talk to you about.
Yeah, I got go gadget arms, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's actually something I want to dive into here. I've got it in my notes here because I learned a little something about draw length, and I'm curious kind of to pick your brain about it. But before I get going, give folks that may not be familiar with you, like where you're from. Looks like you're a military guy.
Yeah, well, if you can't tell, I just was literally just barely got done with the meeting and ran and grabbed my computer and ran over here. So no, I work full-time AGR for the Wyoming National Guard. So I'm on full-time active duty orders. And this is my everyday gig I get to do. I've been part of it now for 13 years. So 7 more, and then I can retire and be done. So we're over the hump anyways, the halfway point. But yeah, no, I was born and raised in Wyoming. I'm originally from Afton. Mm-hmm. For a lot of people that know Region G, that's where I'm from, one of the mule deer meccas of the world. And so I grew up just chasing critters. I started when I was a little kid with my dad and been doing it ever since. So
yeah. Do you so you don't live currently in that area, right? You don't live
No, I'm in Laramie now. So unfortunately part of the full-time guard gig is all roads lead to Cheyenne or Laramie. So gotcha. I'm currently in Laramie right now.
Do you make the voyage back to like your old stomping grounds
yep.
to hunt
every
deer?
September? Yeah, no, I don't even mess around with this side of the state. I just go back home. So
what do you think just like the percentage, if you could guess, because non-residents, we like to sit down here and piss and moan that like, residents of Wyoming, you guys get to buy your general season tags, and then we think, and I don't know because I don't have any numbers to back it up, to be honest, but we kind of have this idea in the back of our head that just everybody kind of floods G&H. But what's your take on that as being a resident?
I think everyone's end game goal is to be able to hunt G&H. A lot of people save their points up for that and to get to go hunt it, and rightfully so. I mean, for an over-the-counter unit, I mean, I hate to say this, but it is one of the best, there is for an over-the-counter tag. I mean, there's some giant critters that get pulled out of there every year. And not only non-resident, but we see a lot of resident people like that come from this side of the state to go over there and hunt deer.
Right.
This side, unfortunately, is super hard. It's super checkerboarded. I mean, so much landlocked ground, checkerboarded ground. And then too, on top of that as well, like unless you have access to private property, you get to watch a lot of big deer, because there is big deer over here, but you just get a lot of watch a lot of them hang out on outfitters pieces or private land pieces and never get to touch them. So
yeah. You do feel like there's a lot of Wyoming residents, though, that live, the east side of the state that make that voyage over to the west side to hunt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Just because of access, right?
Yeah, access. I mean, that's the biggest chunk of public land you can get to. So a lot of people end up over there.
I know when I when I came just out of college, I took this job doing biological clearances for oil and gas development, and I was doing a bunch of work east of Sheridan. So I spent an entire summer living in Sheridan in a hotel, and I was doing a bunch of surveys for seismic in all that country east of it. And it's a lot of private, a lot of checkerboarded stuff, but man, there's some big deer out there.
Oh gosh, yeah. No, it baffles me how big a deer are on the east side of the state in places you would never expect deer to
Yeah.
be. I mean, just giants.
Just cool country. It's like that rolling badlandy country. You got the pine ridges and tops, and then you got these cool little coulees. And I remember a lot of that land that I was surveying was private, and the company I was working for, we had access to go do it because they were doing seismic surveys through there. But we would go through, and we were mostly looking for hawks and other critters that might be sensitive species. But one of the directives from my boss was like, "Hey, if you see shed antlers, you can't pick them up. Like those are not." Dude, I
Yeah,
walked by, I remember one day surveying and like going down this wash, and I was going to climb up on this next ridge. I'm walking down this wash, and there's like this match set of brown deer sheds that are probably like mid 190s, like laying there on top of each other in this wash. I just had to look at them. And
it's funny too because those guys hardly ever pick them up. I had a buddy fighting fires last year, and he was on a big private ranch over here, and the ranch owner went out of his way to go up to the firefighters, the wildland firefighters, and be like, "Whatever you do, do not touch the sheds. You will leave the sheds." And same thing, like they're literally fighting fires, saving this guy's property, looking at like 370 class bull sheds laying on the ground, and they couldn't even touch them.
oh, breaks my
They
heart.
they care about them, but they leave them out. I don't know. I guess they're like lawn ornaments to them. They just leave them out there and let them get white. So
Yeah, man, that broke my heart. I stood there and looked at those for probably 20 minutes. Really,
debate life decisions.
I mean, really, really internally wrestling with
Yeah,
my
yeah,
own ethics. I was like, how important is this job?
yeah.
Yeah. What got you into bow hunting? Did you always bow hunt?
No, I didn't start. It's funny. So I I rifle hunted. So I went out with my dad a lot when I was little, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like started walking the hills with him when I was like 5 or 6. Got my first 22 at 8 years old. Like I would literally get home from like first and second grade and just disappear because I lived on the border of national forest, and I grab my 22 and run over the hill and go shoot squirrels and show up at
Yep.
dark. Like that was, so I was always big into hunting stuff. And then actually when I turned 12 and legal age to hunt, my dad pretty much quit hunting.
Hmm.
Like I hunted with him from like 12 to 14 years old, and then he just decided fly fishing was the way of life and pretty much quit hunting, didn't want to spend time in the hills anymore. So when I was 14, my buddy, he was like, "Hey, we're going archery hunting this year." And
Hmm.
I was like, "Sweet, sounds good." So I was I had like this girlfriend at the time, and I ended up going up to her dad, and I was like, "Did you ever bow hunt?" And he's like, "Yeah, I bow hunted." And I was like, "Do you have any extra bows?" He's like, "They're left-handed." And I was like, "I'll figure out how to shoot it." And so like I had this old school, I can't even remember which Matthews it was. It was before the switchback, but it was a left-handed Matthews. And I literally shot that left-handed Matthews right-handed.
Really?
And yeah, no, yeah, I was so skinny at the time. I literally threaded my forearm between the cables and the string to
Oh
shoot
my
to
God.
shoot this left-handed bow. And I was pretty good with it actually. Like I was decent with it. But that kicked off the bug, and since then I've always bow hunted. It to me, it's gosh, I just don't even find a lot of joy in rifle hunting anymore. So I'll
Yeah.
shoot bears with a boomstick, but other than that, everything's pretty much archery for me.
Yeah. I mean, I took my kid out a couple of years ago and shot a muley, with a rifle, and we, went together, and that was a good experience just because I got him to go out. But yeah, rifle hunting just doesn't hold, I don't know, it just doesn't hold the same, interest that it might have
No,
maybe.
when you kill an elk with a bow, I think my closest one's about 6 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I shot that elk and literally had to duck into the tree to keep from getting ran over. Like when you start having experiences like that, it's hard to go back to a rifle and shoot them from 400 or 500 yards away. Just, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just not the same.
Yeah. It gets in your blood. I got to
Yeah.
know, did you kill anything with this left-handed bow?
Yep. No, I killed a mule deer. I actually killed 2 mule deers with that left-handed bow. Yep. I need to see if I can find old time photos of it. But yeah, I killed a little 4 point and like a little 3 point with that bow. So
Did you have a sight on it? Do you
oh yeah,
remember?
no, it
Okay.
was
Okay. Yeah.
it was like I think it was just a 3-pin sight. And,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, I was so bad. Like I was like 30, 40 yards is my max. So,
Yeah.
yep.
Towson, this is a great story.
Yeah, no,
This
it
is a
was
good
it was
this is a
just
good
it
one.
was something else. It was funny. Yeah, it's I picked that bow up and shot it, and my buddy was like, "You'll never be able to hit anything with that." And I could outshoot my buddy with his right-handed bow with it, and I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
this ain't
man.
bad." So, yeah,
Yeah, that's wild. Uh, let's talk Vegas a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah, I wanna talk. So, when have you shot Vegas before?
So this is my second time at Vegas. I used to shoot a lot back in the day. I took like a 7, 8 year hiatus from arch, like tournament archery.
Mhm.
I still hunted, bow hunted, and shot for fun and stuff like that. But tournament archery, I kind of took a big, huge, long break from it, and this was my first year back.
Gotcha.
So it felt like it was my first time I've ever been there. That's for sure. Venues changed, everything's
Yeah.
changed. So
Yeah, venue is a lot different, right? It's a lot
yeah, no,
it's
100%
it's
different.
quite a
Yep.
bit different to navigate. Once you get in there and you get used to it, it's not too bad, but I remember because I was used to going out to the South Point. I never shot at the South Point, but I would go down every year just to watch, right? So the
Yeah,
final day. And it was so handy just because everything felt so centralized and you had the rodeo arena essentially. It was pretty cool. But yeah, this first time I went last year, I was like, oh, this is way different, right on the strip,
yeah.
trying to find parking, walking around in the casino with your bow and a
Oh gosh.
weird cover and people walking around with like clear plastic bags over their veins. I was like, what is this?
That's what made my day is the hotel security. Like the first time we got off the elevator, the hotel security was like jumping people.
Oh yeah.
They were freaking out because their bow was partially uncovered and wasn't completely covered by the bag. And
Yep.
so then people started getting really sarcastic and they're because they said you had to cover your arrows too, right? And so we took our little welcome goodie bag and threw
Yep.
those over our arrows. And then some people just started getting a clear plastic bag to throw over their fletchings, just as a big screw you to the hotel staff. But
Yeah.
yeah, that part was dumb. I didn't understand that part.
Yeah. I didn't stay at that hotel. I stayed at a different hotel. But before I went in, I thought I'm going to just stop in at hotel security and like let them know that I've got a bow because I'm going to bring it into my room, right? I'm not going to like just let it marinate out in my truck when it's 90 degrees and who knows what
Yeah.
happens, right? So I stopped in at security and I said, "Hey, I'm shooting this archery competition in Vegas, down the road from you." And I said, "I would like to be able to bring my bow in." And that guy had to call up to two other security guards. I had to wait for like 15 minutes. They came down. They ran me through the whole thing. What is it? One guy did know enough to say, like, "Do you have broadheads on your arrows?" And I was like, "No, these are just glue in points. It's target archery." And walking through the casino was funny. I left my bow in that little bow cover,
Yep.
but I probably had no less than 4 or 5 people stop me and be like, because they could see my arrows, kind of
Yeah.
sticking out, and they'd be like, "Is that a bow?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's a bow." And I had guys ask me like, "Oh, can I see it? Can you pull it out and can I look at it?" And so I was kept pulling my bow out and showing people. But yeah, it was funny. The other thing I was telling those security guards, I was like, I it would be a lot less alarming if I was walking through this casino with a bow than it would be if I was walking through this casino with my bow case, like my hard travel case
Yeah.
that looks like a rifle case.
Oh, 100%.
That would be disturbing.
It just shows you what little bit they do know about firearms and
Yeah.
archery and stuff like that. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Like, I was the same way. I was like, I feel more uncomfortable by people carrying around things covered by a like body bag essentially
Right.
than I do with them just carrying a bow in the wide open. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
look at it, it's a bow.
I've told
Yeah,
this story before, but you'll love it. So one time I went on a destination hunt and I went through the Vegas airport with my bow case. And I just told them it's a bow, arrows, no firearms. And they were like, "Okay, well, we still want to check it." And I was like, "Okay." So we ran it down to the little rifle area, where they run through stuff. And I sit there for like 20 minutes and she comes out and she's like, "Yeah, there's a problem." And I was like, "What's the problem?" And she's like, "Well, there's some, banned substances in it." And I said, "Well, what would it be?" And she said, "Well, you got some, ammunition in it." And I was like, "What? No ammunition. I've never carried a firearm in that bow case. Anyway, waited and waited. Finally, she came out, and I was probably there for like 45 minutes. Finally, she comes out, and I said, "Well, what was the issue?" And she's like, "Well, there was ammunition, and I was like, well, whatever. And she's like, yeah, it's clear, you're good to go. But when I got to my destination, I pulled my bow case out, all my field tips were gone. So they and I probably already told you this story because I've told this
No,
story a bunch.
that's great.
Yeah, they took all my field tips, all my practice
they
tips.
they literally thought your field tips were
Yeah.
bullets.
I even
That's
asked I even
hilarious.
asked her at one point, I said, what were they? What caliber? And she's like, oh, they're a 45. And I was like, oh, a 45 caliber, huh? And I don't own a 45 caliber. I was just like, whatever.
That is great.
Yeah,
I
pretty
figure they would
funny.
have freaked out over broadheads, but field
Yeah,
points,
no,
that's
field points.
legendary.
Yeah. How much practicing did you get in before Vegas?
Oh, a lot. I've shot the strings off that bow. That was part of my problem being there. My timing keeps coming out really bad. I'm still waiting on my set of strings to come in, but my bottom cable was hitting about 2 twists fast compared to my top cable. So
Which is a lot on
yeah,
that
that bow
bow.
wanted to run on me bad. I felt like I was just yanking through that back wall the whole time I was there, but I've shot it quite a bit. I try to get in at least an hour a day. I'll either
Okay.
go first thing in the morning or I'll go in the evening when I get off work and go stop in and shoot. But I usually shoot 2 to 3 games a day is what I try to do, and then shoot some more arrows. So average about 150 arrows a day.
Gotcha. Are you do you have a place that you can go to shoot? Do you have like an indoor
Yeah,
range?
we're actually lucky. There's an indoor range here in Laramie. It's just 20 yards, but
Yeah.
it's a good place to get out of the wind because if you've never been over to this side of the state,
Yeah.
a mild wind is 25 miles per hour. So
Yeah. Is it ripping today?
no, it's actually not bad today for whatever reason. So
Man, it's
yesterday flying
ripping
in, I
here.
thought the plane was gonna fold in half. It was a little
Yeah.
sketchy.
Yeah, it's raging here today. We must have a little storm blowing in or something. Either that or
Thank
shit.
goodness. We need all of it.
Yeah,
We need the entire month of April just to rain and
just
snow the whole time.
poor. I
Yep.
know. I was just before we jumped on, I was working on Nevada's application strategy and looking at the state of Nevada, and man, it's dry.
Well, yeah, and when it's dry year for down there, it's bad.
Yeah. So when you go and practice, is it like a league that you shoot in a league up there where you shooting with other
So
guys? Is mostly just by
we've
yourself?
got the cool part about like Laramie, being in Laramie is from me like 2 hours and like literally a 360-degree direction. You can be at some sort of tournament slash
Hmm.
shoot every single weekend. So Colorado's got a lot of really good stuff. Fort Collins area, Loveland, Casper is probably the archery capital for the state of Wyoming. So Casper always puts on some good shoots. And then the Cheyenne Field Archers have got a ton of really good stuff that they do. But yeah, there's always something going on. So
Gotcha.
um, it's fun. For practice for me, I go every day and just shoot. Tuesday night, actually tonight, we've got like the last week of our 3D league night. So I'll go shoot that after we get done here and go fling some arrows at some foam finally. So and then yeah, there's fun stuff all over the
Yeah.
place. There's another Lancaster shoot down competition that Cheyenne Field Archers putting on
Hmm.
in a week, so I'll go do that one, and hopefully that is the last bit of paper I shoot for the year. So
That's awesome. Leading up to Vegas, were you doing any other types of shooting, or were you just 20 yards paper games?
no, I shot Vegas, a lot of Vegas faces. I actually went to NFA Nationals
Hmm.
in Memphis, so I went and shot some 5 spots. So that was
Oh,
fun.
very cool.
And I did that, shot some 5 spot, and then I've done probably 7 or 8 3D competitions so far just locally this year. So
Are you shooting the same bow for those and just
yep,
swapping
yep,
arrows,
same
tapes?
thing for everything. So I'm dumb and I shot Vegas at 76 pounds
Okay.
and it was brutal. The reason being is on that arc, you can only get to 80% holding weight
Yep.
or let off. So my holding weight was still only 12 to 14 pounds. And so I left it at 75 just because the holding weight felt good there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I shoot it for everything. The main reason I got into target archery was to get better at hunting, right? Like
Hmm.
I had zero ambitions of ever shooting a paper face, of ever shooting 3D animals until it was actually, gosh, it was like 2021. My buddy, no, sorry, I take that back. 2012. 2012. Um, I just got back. I'd spent 2 years in Africa and just got home, and my buddy took me out and he's like, let's go shoot this 3D competition. I was like, cool. Went and bought a 28-inch draw bow. I'm 32 inches. I shot a 28-inch Hoyt that my buddy sold me for $200. And so I was shooting that bow, and we go to a 3D competition. It was actually Casper. And I went there and I just mopped the floor with him. And he was like,
Wow.
you're really good at this. And I was like, okay. And he's like, no, really, you should try doing this. And I was like, cool. So I started getting a little bit more into archery around like the 2012 time frame.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I started doing it just because I loved hunting. And then I actually, funny story, I had a buck at like, I think he's like 85, 86 yards.
Hmm.
And it was the last time I've ever been within shooting range of a 200+ inch typical deer.
Hmm.
And I could not shoot him. And I literally, this is like, I think I was 13. And I remember that feeling like to this day, watching that buck just walk away because I couldn't shoot past 40. And I
Right.
was like, this will never, ever happen again. Like,
Gotcha.
never. And so after that shooting, after that deer, I was like, all right, we're taking this seriously. And so then I started shooting a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. So what arrows did you shoot in Vegas?
I shot the Victory, the VTAC 27s. So I shot
Okay.
the fatty shafts. And the only reason I would have rather shot my skinnies. They tuned better and they
Hmm.
they shoot really good right now. But they have that 300 foot per second rule. And
Oh,
so
gotcha.
I was shooting my fat shafts. They're 680 grains to get them down below 300 feet per second. So
Gotcha. It makes me wonder what I was shooting as far as foot per second because
yeah,
I
I don't think they care much about bow hunter flights, but yeah,
yeah,
I always try to stay within the rules
I'm sure
as
I was
much as
below.
possible. Yeah.
Yeah, because those arrows I'm shooting are probably 550 grains, and I was shooting 71 pounds, so I'm sure that it was below 300.
Yeah, you should
But
be below the threshold.
yeah, there was a guy shooting next to me the first day that just shot his hunting bow, and he shot platinum pierced tors, so gold
Yep.
tip pierces, and he was shooting the single spot, so he just flipped the target over and he's shooting the single spot, and that guy was piping.
Yeah.
I mean, just middle. And I was asking him, what's your strategy here? He's an older guy, just an absolute Vegas veteran. I think he'd shot it many years. And he's like, I just aim at a single spot a whole lot better. And he's like, my skinny shafts, my hunting arrows, he's like, they tune a lot better. They fly better, fly straighter. He's like, so the last few years I've been coming, he's like, I just gone to shooting skinny shafts at a single spot. And he shot great. And he was like hammering.
Yeah, I've shot gosh, my best game this year was with my skinnies. I shot a 325X
Wow.
just with my hunting arrows. Like that was my best game I shot all year. So, so far.
Would you take that in, like, do you think that that's something you might do in the future?
Yeah, one of the main reasons I'm shooting the bow hunting setup for everything right now
Mhm.
is there's a bow hunter ASA the end of this year in August.
Yep.
It's $60,000
60,
for first place.
60K.
Huge, like absolutely huge. So
Yeah.
while everybody's shooting their open setup, I'm going to try to get as much of an advantage as I can because I
Mhm.
need all the help I can get. But I'm shooting my bow hunting setup for the entire remainder of the year for everything. So yeah, like I've got 2 or 3 ASAs I plan on going to, and I'll shoot all of those with my skinny arrows.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just prepping for that one big tournament. So
for sure. Um, I want to talk about how your weekend went, but before I do that, just run me through. So you're shooting a ARC 34.
yep, I've got the Arc 34. I've got the Hamsky R7 rest on there, which is amazing. I love it.
Did, did
They
you
crushed
did
that
you do
rest.
anything different with that rest, like torque
Nope,
tuning? Did you add any of those blocks but to the back end of it and tinker with
nope.
torque at all?
You can't really with the cable guard on the Arc. Like with the Arc cable guard, you don't have a lot of room. If you got rid of the top bar on the cage, you might be able to get one of those tuning blocks in there.
But you're not
But
going to stack them in there behind it.
no. If I could, I would shoot an overdraw. I'd pull a Tim Gillingham and shoot a
Yeah,
24-inch arrow. But
gotcha.
you can't do that on the Arc, unfortunately. But I shot that, shot the dialed.
Hmm.
Um, this is my first year ever trying the dialed sight. It's actually pretty cool. I like it a lot. I like it better than their first
For
run of
sure.
sights. This new proof it's a nice one. The only thing I wish they'd do on that is I wish they'd change the indicator pins.
Yeah.
They're kind of like a
Yeah.
big black pin, and the end
Yep.
isn't very fine pointed, so you can't really
I
like.
like their site a lot. The only beef I would have with it, and it's the same beef I have with like a boonie or something like that. I just don't like a round wheel.
I hate it. Like round wheels are my least favorite.
Me too.
I've played with just about every sight. I shot the driver last year, and the driver's great, but if you don't tighten everything down,
Mhm.
like it will move on you. Um, the Ultra View, as far as ergonomics go, the Ultra View is the greatest sight out there by
Yeah,
far. The problem with the Ultra View is it doesn't have a true second axis adjustment. And then two, the pin. I shoot single pin for everything, for hunting everything.
yeah.
And the pin is like literally like aiming with a 2x4 when you're at full draw. Like
It's
it
the,
blocks everything.
it's the same size as the post.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. The post
Yeah,
is giant. It's
and
giant.
yeah, and it's a 15 pin, and I can't see a 15 pin. Like I love their side. I love everything about it other than the pin. Other
Yep.
than
That's my only complaint with that site.
Yeah, I had Colby in the office all day Friday when I was down there, so we talked a lot about
Yeah.
sites and
Well,
such.
I,
But
once you know him, tell him to make a point one single pin.
yeah,
Don't include the three bottom pins. Just do one single pin and make that post smaller,
yeah.
please.
What were you shooting for stabilizers?
I just had the Matthews, the bridge lock bars. I did
Okay.
that 15-degree down bar. I'm rocking those right now. I'm probably going to end up going to MFJJ's bars. He's one of my
Mhm.
good buddies, and
Yep.
he said he's going to send me out some of his, and he makes a really good bar actually. So I'll probably, before this year's through, I'll end up with some of those.
How much weight did you put on your front and were you shooting a back bar?
Yeah, I was shooting back bar. I had a ton of weight on the back, just trying to get. So for people who've never shot Vegas or never shot like a big tournament like that, like
Hmm.
I get worse nerves and worse jitters shooting a paper face than I do on a big animal, like
Did,
110,000%. Like
did
it
you
is mind blowing how nervous you get getting up on that line.
did you see Kevin Wilkie's post? He said if you want to know what it feels like to experience the nerves that you have on an animal for 90 arrows, go shoot Vegas.
Yeah, 100%.
And I
I,
and I
I
was like,
love
yeah,
Kevin.
it's a good one.
Kevin's a phenomenal shot too. I
Yeah,
mean, he's like, for people that don't know him, like he's one of the best to ever do it. Like
yeah.
he's been in the Vegas 900 club. Like he's unreal, and he's a killer too. I mean, the dude has shot a lot of good critters, but like, yeah, it's mind blowing how nervous you get. Like you really do. And
No.
so I actually took weight off my front bar because I kept holding low and put it on
Mhm.
my back bar. And so I was running like 12 ounces on my back and like 5 or 6 on my front.
You and I could have just swapped setups pretty much. So I had
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
five on the front and 11 on the back. Is
Yeah.
where I
Nope.
am.
That's about where I was sitting.
Were you shooting a 12-inch back bar or 10?
I shot a 10.
Okay.
And the reason I shot a 10 is I noticed last year when I had a 12, that 12, when you start stacking weights on the back like that, it starts getting a little wobbly on you. So I
Yeah,
went to 10-inch bar. It's a little bit stiffer, a little bit easier to move around with too.
for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. What size peep did you shoot? Which is kind of a curious question, but do you remember?
I think I've just got a Raptor in there. I'm
Okay.
actually going to take it out and I'm going to put the new Hamsky. I have one of the new Hamskys in there, and I'm going to put that in there because the lighting did change substantially. So I shot in the championship hall on Sunday
Hmm.
because I was at the top of the flight, and my ring was like night and day bigger in the championship hall compared to where we shot
Yeah.
Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Friday and Saturday, it was pretty close, but championship day, it was like I felt like I had a quarter inch, gap between my sight housing and my peep ring that I could see.
Yeah. The lighting in the main hallway in the Paris is not good.
No,
I shot there last year. Didn't love it. This year was way better because all my shoots were in the
yeah,
horseshoe. Well,
that
the
horseshoe
lighting
hall
felt
was
pretty good.
phenomenal lighting. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was good.
yeah, but no, I think I'm running an 1/8 inch because I try not to go any smaller than an 1/8 inch for hunting.
Gotcha.
But I think that next sight is like an 8/32 or something like that. I'll probably have to go down to that.
Yeah. Just to narrow it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is probably a good transition. So I want to talk about how it went for you your first day. And one of the pieces of equipment that we didn't get into is your release.
Yeah.
So tell me,
Yeah.
did you like how I weave that together?
Yeah, bring that in there. Dagger straight to the heart. Yeah.
Tell me about
So
your first day. Tell me about your release.
my first day I was shooting really, really good. And this is my fault. I'm not blaming the manufacturer at all because it's not their fault. It's 100% my fault. But I've got a stand clicker. So I went and did a bunch of stuff with Joel Turner, and Joel actually gave me that release. And so that's all I've been shooting lately. Before that, I shot a honey badger claw for everything, the
Mm-hmm.
HBC, hunting, target, everything. That was my go-to release. And I was shooting that stand, but the problem is during hunting season, I run a release pouch,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll stick my release in the release pouch, and it had got sap and needles and everything inside of it, and I had gummed up that release really bad. So I shot a shot, and it was left edge 10, and I was like, man, that felt weird. I draw back again, and like I'm squeezing, and I'm squeezing hard, and it doesn't go off after my click, and I'm like, what the heck? And then it fires, and I hit an 8. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh gosh, I think my release is gumming up on me. And then the last shot I shot, and I went to shoot, didn't go off. It hung on me. So I went to let down, and on my letdown, it went off. And I thought I completely missed my entire bail. Like it was bad. And luckily, I barely caught the 6 line. So I shot a
Really?
6 and an 8 in my one end. And it sucked. And then I switched to a backup release, and I ended up still pulling out a 290 by some miracle. I managed to squeeze out a 290, but yeah, it was a bad way to start Vegas for sure.
What were the arrows like after that? So
They were so my first end after that, getting used to the new release, because it's set way heavier. I've got it set for practice. It really makes me execute a surprise break. Like I really like have to just squeeze. It makes my whole shot process slow down. And so it was a little bit left. So I shot like I think I ended up shooting another 9, my first arrow.
mhm,
And then I gave it like 3 or 4 clicks left. And then it was money after that. So
gotcha.
I ended up shooting, that happened on my fourth end, fifth end, I dropped a 9. My sixth end, like 6 through 8 or 6 through 9, I shot X's the whole way through. So I just shot triple X the whole way for the rest of the way. And then it got down to my ninth end, and we were doing scores, and it's like, oh, you're at 260. I was like, holy crap. Like I
Yeah,
can still
squeak one
squeeze a
out.
290 out of this. And then, so then the pressure came on. I actually let down twice my last arrow on my last end, because
Oh
I was
wow.
like, I can't shoot below a 290. I was like, So like, I actually got a lot of pressure that last arrow to squeeze off a 290. I let down twice. I was like, all right, we're doing this. But yeah,
Wow. Dang.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. So last year I did something real similar. I was shooting a true ball executive, and I was really long in a hold, and I hit that point where I was like, I need to let down, and I started to creep forward on it and just got super relaxed and broke an arrow and shot it into the bale next to mine.
I,
Yeah, which just was sucked.
devastating.
Yeah, I think I was telling you maybe at the shoot, but what stinks about that is when you do something like that, like you have to go, pull your arrow, score them, and then you walk back, and a judge has to pull your arrow and like walk
Yep.
it back to you on the line. So he's like walking down the line, whose arrow is this? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's mine. But yeah, I do remember. The reason I asked you like what were the arrows like after that is because I remember, the next end. I remember that first arrow. It was like I was going to pull the wheels off
Yeah.
that. I mean, Cam's like I was so deep into it, just like edgy and nervous. And then the rest of the tournament, I was like so anxious when I would have to let down. I just couldn't get right in my head after that little bump. But
It messes with you, and gosh, I'm not going to say I have great mental fortitude, because I obviously let the nerves get to me bad this weekend, but like one thing that I have learned in archery is that you can only control the next shot. Like you
mhm,
can't control your last shot. You can't
can't get
change
it back.
anything about it, right? So
Yep.
that was something I got told a little early on, was like, hey, just, that's done. You can only control the next shot. So,
Hmm.
and you can only shoot one arrow at a time. You know what I mean? So every arrow is one arrow at a time. A lot of people try to group everything in like, oh, I got to get this whole end clean or whatever. And it's nah, you just got to focus on that one arrow, one at a time, get loud in your head, and just execute a good break, man. And
Yeah.
it sounds way easier than what it is, especially at Vegas, but
Yep.
you can start getting back into a rhythm, you'll be all right. But I had that happen to a kid next to me shooting. He was from Colorado, good kid, good shot, and he just did a dip bang
Yep.
and fired off. and ended up hitting the person above him, his target, missed his whole target. And like, he literally looked like he was about ready to go into tears, younger
Yeah.
kid, like 15 years old. And I was like, hey man, I was like,
Doesn't matter.
you can't change that. Like, it happens to everybody. I was like, it's happened to me more times than I
Hmm.
care to admit. Like, you just got to keep your head up and just keep going. And yeah, it's tough. It's tough to recover from that.
For sure. What what'd you do for nerves? You do anything special for nerves?
Um,
You got any strategies?
so I found that the best way to try to simulate, and it doesn't matter because you're never going to simulate those nerves, but I found the best way to simulate is if you do have friends that are about your level. You got to put money on the line, man.
Hmm.
I've got a buddy here that shoots with me, one of my really good friends, and he's a really good shot. He got really good really quick. And he beat me a couple times last year. And so now every time we shoot together, I'm like, hey, $25. And he's like, all right. So
Yeah.
we always put money, no matter what shoot we're at, what we're doing, we always put money on the line to try to add that extra bit of pressure to one another. I tried to drink like 3 energy drinks and pound them back to back to back and then go shoot with an elevated heart rate. Unfortunately, that doesn't do anything to stimulate your your adrenaline. So all
Yeah.
that does is just teaches you how to shoot with a 160 degree or 160 beats per minute heart rate. So
I got
yeah.
one for you. I did the opposite. So my strategy, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna lay off caffeine for the weekend, right? So didn't drink any caffeine Thursday, none Friday, none Saturday, none Sunday. Uh Friday night, about the time I went to bed, I was like, oh, I feel like I'm getting a headache. I woke up Saturday morning, which is like an absolute rager migraine.
Oh yeah.
Just pounder of a headache, you know? And instead of like evaluating and going, huh, maybe it's my lack of caffeine intake because I'm such an addict, you know, I just went on with the day and just fought it the whole entire day. And when I came back home, I mean, first gas station I hit, you know, I pounded an energy drink. And by the time I got home, it was kind of starting to mellow out. But I mean, that's just a lesson in like, if you're, whatever it is that you're doing at home when you're practicing, you should probably just take those same things into, you know, your everyday, you know, your tournament shooting, right? So if you're drinking caffeine, you drink coffee or whatever it might be, you probably ought to stay with it. That was a hard one for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole Michael Jordan theory of you practice how you
Mm,
play, you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
same thing can go into archery, you know what I mean? Like when you're shooting, and that was one thing I did learn from Joel that was super helpful. Like, because people blank bail, right, to
Hmm.
get rid of target panic or target anxiety or whatever. And like, he's like, you're not going to be doing that in a competition. You're not blank bailing in a competition. You got to aim at a target. Like,
Hmm.
plain and simple, you got to aim at a target. And so the way you execute, and you can only rise to your level of practice, right? Like, you can't go into a shoot and be like, I'm going to shoot 300 today because the adrenaline's going and I'm going to do better. Like, you usually shoot 5 to 6 points under what you practice at Vegas.
Yep.
Um, and like, you have to essentially practice exactly how you plan on shooting. So
Yeah.
for people that want to go to Vegas or something like that, get on the line, shoot 20 arrows, shoot 5 arrows with your target high, and then shoot 5 arrows with your target low. Practice your 2 practice ends. Do exactly how you're going to do it, and it'll help out substantially.
On that first day when, you know, you hear the whistle go off and they say you're first in for score, um, what's your mental, like, what's your shot process like? I mean, what are you thinking? Talk me through. I know, I mean, if you've done some content with Joel, I watched that
Yep.
series that you did some shooting with him. You know, I watched that whole thing. I thought it was awesome. Seemed helpful for you for sure. So I was
Yeah.
curious as to like what's going through your head, you know, when you step up every arrow.
So I'm bad because I'm very, very competitive. Like, I'm the most competitive
Yeah.
individual in the world. So I'm always worried about winning, and I'm always worried about doing my best. And I hate sucking.
Hmm.
I hate not doing good. Um, and so I have to get those thoughts out of my head, because you start thinking about that, like, you will. That's what happened to me on Sunday. Like, I I tanked on Sunday. It was bad. But like, so my first arrow when I get up there, it's like what Joel says. You got to get loud. You got to get loud in your head. He teaches you to have like some sort of rhythm or talk yourself through the process. When he's actually teaching you his course, he'll have you speak while you're
Yeah.
talking, walking through the steps. And so, like, in my head, I'm doing a mental like checklist, essentially, those first couple arrows, right? Like, my first couple arrows, I'm like, okay, we're drawing back, anchor's good. As soon as my pin hits yellow, I get to my first click. I get to my click, because
Mhm.
that's a lot of people's problem with a click release is they get to the click, or they get to the yellow and they start aiming, and they aim for a long time. And then when they get to the click, it freaks them out and just
Mhm.
throws it off. All that click is there for is like, essentially like, hey, now we're ready to start the shot presses. Like, here I go.
Gotcha.
And so as soon as my pin gets to yellow, I get to my click, and then I'm just talking myself through the process. Like, just squeeze, pull, whatever you're doing. Some people like to pull through their shot really hard. Some people, if you can control your twitches, you can just squeeze through your release. But that's what I have to do. I have to get really loud that first couple shots, because the first end and the last end of a Vegas face target and I would even throw in the middle end, because if you shoot the first half clean and jump into that second half and you're clean, that sixth end of the second half is tough. That'll get to you too.
Yeah. When I'm at home shooting, and then I would have to go back and actually look at my scorecards and see, but I know at home I always struggle like my probably like third, fourth, fifth ends. It's because it's like I'm hyper focused to start, because I'm like, I'm going to start keeping score. I want to
Yep.
aim well. I want to shoot well, which I do. Okay. And then I get into like third, fourth, fifth ends. It's like I almost start to lose focus. Like I just get a little bit disinterested in it. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm just shooting arrows. And then I'll drop some, and then I get to the end. I'm like, okay, I'm, ninth, 10th end. It's time to clean things up and get serious here. It's time to shoot
Yeah.
some middle. So that's one thing I struggle with. The other thing I struggle with is like I'm not that competitive like I used to be. I was ultra competitive in high school. Like I played sports, played basketball. I turned into an absolute deplorable human being when I
Yep.
played sports. And since then I've just been like, I don't like myself when I'm like that. So I try to keep a frame of mind like I'm just shooting against myself. I want to do better every year. I've not gotten to that level yet where I'm like, man, I want to, beat Towson, or I want to beat somebody, which I
Yeah.
think you probably have, to be honest, if you're going to be really good at something.
You have to want to win. But I'm in the same mind boat, right? Like when I played basketball growing up, like the reason why I was good was because I was the meanest person on the floor every
Mm-hmm.
time I stepped onto the floor. Like I
Yep.
was always undersized. I was always the skinniest person on the floor. And like, so when I went out there, I was just like, I was rabid. Like I was like,
Yeah.
I was jumping in the middle with all the big dogs, bouncing around, getting banged up. I didn't care. Like,
Yep.
but I agree with you. There was a mind shift at about 20, I would say probably getting close to like 29, 30, where my mind shifted. And I didn't care so much about beating other people anymore as much as I did about performing to the best of my abilities.
Yeah.
Um, and that's kind of where I'm at now. Like, do I want to win every tournament I go to? Absolutely. But what I found that is if I shoot to the best of my ability to what I know I can do, like I generally am beating most people.
Right.
Um, and at the end of the day, too, when I shoot my absolute best game, and at the end, like I'm not number one, like I'm okay with it. Like if
Yeah.
I've shot at absolutely the best I can shoot and I'm second place, like cool, I did all that I could do.
Yeah. You talked about your release. So activating your release, what's your method? Are you like a push pull guy? Are you like back wall pull, drag your thumb, relaxed hand? Are you a squeeze like your hand? So you're putting your pinky to your thumb together?
So I'm just squeeze, right? So when I was working with Joel, we did a few things and we came to the conclusion that I can squeeze through a release and execute a release by just squeezing. I don't have to pull through the release. I can squeeze the release to make it go off without punching it. And
Mm-hmm.
so what I do is I'm just slowly squeezing. Like I said, I get to the click. Once I get to the click, then I'll start to just squeeze. And I've done it so much now that like it's just go, boom, and it fires. And you
Gotcha.
get that surprise break. When I get in real nervous situations, then yes, I actually will take my pinky off that little black resting peg because
Mm-hmm.
I shoot the 3 finger. I'll
Yep.
take my pinky off that peg and actively try to squeeze my pinky to my thumb essentially. To try to get it to go off, because I have found that when you get in high pressure situations, it is very, very hard to continuously get a surprise break.
Yeah. Hard to get the thumb going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're more static at full draw, like relaxed static, or do you feel like you're still pulling and you're like maintaining a lot of tension and you're rhomboid like into full draw?
So I sit pretty static, and one thing I do love about the arc is that if you relax at all, it runs on you.
Hmm.
And some people don't like that. I love it because for people that don't understand how a bow works, like if your bow can move a quarter of an inch while you're at full draw and not go down, like that is a lot of play in a bow, and
Yeah.
you're going to get a lot of ups and downs with that. So I'm more of a static shooter, except for this weekend with my cam being the way it was. I was
You pulled.
really, I was really, and it was bad for me too, because as a static shooter, like, and I've shot enough to the point where I can hold that bow in the yellow and it's not moving a lot, right? Like
Mhm.
I can make that pin just sit in the yellow and just sit there. And I like that because my mind's like, cool, it's just sitting in the middle, execute the shot and go. But when I'm really pulling into it, like my pin is it's still in the yellow, but it's doing these like tight little jitters dancing all around the yellow.
Yep.
And I noticed that this weekend my forearm was actually shaking, my front arm was, because I was pulling so hard into the bow.
Yeah.
And that's why I was getting most of my misses came out the top.
Yeah. Pushing it, healing
Yep.
into it,
Yep.
pulling it. Yep. Yeah. You were shooting a B Real grip, is that right? Like a
Correct. Yep. I was rocking one of
ultra view.
those. Yep. And the reason being is the Matthews does come in a little bit long. So like a true, like it's hard for me to shoot past 32 inches.
Hmm.
That bow is coming in at like 31 and an eighth. And so I put that Be Real grip on there because it gave me like an extra eighth of an inch.
Yeah.
Um,
Took
with
it
the
out.
Matthews, yeah, the Matthews grips, my favorite grip that Matthews makes is the contour grip.
Hmm.
Uh, that's the one I like the most. But that Be Real grip's a good one too. I can really lock in my thumb and lock in my hand because I shoot a high grip. Like I'm always
Yeah.
up into the shelf, and I really feel like I can lock my hand in with that grip.
Gotcha. Yeah, you need the angle of the grip, right? To kind of give
Yep,
you
correct.
more of a
Yep,
high wrist. Yeah, I'm like completely inverse. I'm real low wristed, so I'm like
yeah,
way up in it. Take the grip off, and I'm clear up to the point where I'm almost touching veins on my knuckles. It's just what's repeatable.
yeah,
Let's talk about your draw lengths. I'm curious. I wanted to ask you about it because you have a long draw length, but specifically, I wanted to ask you like how did you arrive at your preferred draw length? And the reason I'm asking this is because I have been shooting forever about 30 and a quarter, right? And I mentioned that I had Colby in the office from Ultraview on Friday. And I was asking him, like, what's your draw length? And I think his is like 31 and a half, maybe, or 31 and a quarter, something like that. And he was asking me what mine was. And I said, you and I are about the same height. And he's like, yeah, I have long arms. And I was like, let's stand back to back. So we stood back to back, stretched out our arms, and we have almost identical wingspans, right?
yep,
So then he's like, maybe you should be shooting a longer draw length. And I was like, well, let's go grab a bow and look at it, right? So we went and grabbed a Matthews, and it's a Arc 34. So it wasn't mine, but a different one. But it's a 30-inch draw, and I drew back and kind of talked him through, what I'm feeling, what it aims like, and he's looking at my posture and my position, and he's like, yeah, you're a little bit like closed in with your front. It's like sunk in a little bit more. Feels low, feels steady for me. My stance is way more open than probably a lot of people's is. It's almost like at times I look at my feet and I'm kind of standing at a 45-degree angle, like
yeah,
to the target with both feet, right? Um, but I will tell you that like since I got home, the free evenings that I've had, the two of them, I've got mods on my bow. Like I'm tinkering
yep,
with draw link just to see what it feels like. So I'm curious as to like what it's like for you.
yeah. No, I'm the same boat. I like what Levi Morgan said. Levi Morgan, he called out tinkers and said, maybe if you shot more,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't be so worried about tinkering and buying stuff. And I agree with that 110% because I feel like people don't shoot as much as what they should. But at the same boat too, I feel like once you get to the point of where you've shot a bunch and like your capabilities and what you're doing, I think it's absolutely 110% necessary to start tinkering around with stuff because
Mm-hmm.
you will find that some bows are longer than others at draw lengths. The string angle is different with some bows at draw lengths. Like on the Title 38, I can shoot that bow at 31 and a half and twist down the cables a little bit to get to 31 and 3/4. And it feels longer than what my arc does at 32 inches just because of the
Axle to
string
axle.
angle of the
Yeah.
bow. Yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
string angle, the ATA of the bow, it makes it feel completely different. Um, and so when I'm setting up my own personal bows, I'll pull out a notebook and I'll write down everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'll write down specs. I'll write down the distance of my D loop, where it's at, from the top cam, from the bottom cam. I like to run my D loop a little bit higher into the burger hole just to get a little bit
Mm-hmm.
steadier hold on those Matthews. But I'll write it all down because you can take two identical bows. You can take an Arc 34 and an Arc 34, and they're not going to shoot the same
Mm-hmm.
unless you set them up exactly the same. And so for my draw length, getting my draw length set, I'll play with the cables a little bit and mess with the cables to try to, twist in or twist out just a little bit.
Yeah.
I always try to stay within 1/8 of an inch of your recommended ATA.
Yep.
And then 2, I've played with grips, and that's why I ended up with the Ultra View grip, because with that grip, the draw length feels the best.
Are you just looking for hold?
I'm
Like
looking for
aim?
holds, but 2, one really good test of draw length. Again, because I do all this because I bow hunt a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, go take your bow and go shoot a target at a steep uphill angle.
Hmm.
Because when you start shooting uphill, your draw length becomes substantially longer.
Yeah.
So if you can, and that's the reason why I've got that grip on there, because at full draw, like I noticed on my Lift XD last year, when I shot my Lift XD uphill at a couple tournaments, like I literally felt like my draw length was 33 inches.
Gotcha.
Like I thought I was going to have to start putting my thumb on the back of my neck. Like it felt so long. You know what I mean? Like it just feels way, way longer. And I have taken a few uphill shots on deer and elk before. So, and even in tournaments, there's a couple of them. But yeah, the uphill will really tell you your draw length if it's too long or not.
Yeah, good tip.
And then 2, my front shoulder. I've realized that if I don't get my front shoulder, they talk all the time about locking your shoulders and dropping them in, locking them into place. If I don't get my front shoulder dropped in and locked into place, then I start shaking way more than I would if I can drop it in and lock it in place.
For sure.
Bone on bone is always stronger than muscle on muscle.
Yeah, I agree. I was curious when at Vegas, did you feel like your draw length was good? Did it feel different than it normally did?
My draw length felt good. I just noticed my timing. It felt like I had 2 back walls. It felt like I drew back and I hit my bottom cam, and then I drew back and hit my. It felt like a 2-stage trigger on a bow, essentially. Like it was. That's what I noticed. But it didn't feel too long. The nice thing about shooting paper is you're shooting, flat 20 yards. So I didn't notice as much there as what I do when I get outside and start shooting outdoor 3D.
Yeah, the reason I asked is mine. So I've been shooting a lot. I mean, pretty much, I would say 90% plus of the practice ends that I shot at home. I shot with a hinge release and shot great. I mean, for me, shot great, I should say. Was feeling good. And then, I show up in Vegas and I step up there to the line, shoot my first couple practice ends, and I was like, it just doesn't feel quite right. Then the whistle goes, first in for score. I pull in the wall, and I'm like, man, I feel long. Like I feel I feel way long. And it's probably just because I've got adrenaline pumping and I'm pulling real hard into the wall and I'm like trying to elongate. And I think I shot my first 4 or 5 ends with that hinge, and I was just like, this doesn't feel right. I just feel way long. It just doesn't feel steady. And then I switched over to a different release about midway through, with a different length of the shank, and kind of sucked me right back in. And, pretty quickly I was like, oh yeah, this is aiming a whole lot better, just based on the length of the shank on the release and draw length. So that was something I learned. I was like, I should, you hear people talk, like I've talked to Kyle before, I've talked to Paige before, and they're like, yeah, I'm building a bow for how I'm going to feel in a tournament, right? Like when I've got my nerves pumping. And I've always wondered, like, what do you mean exactly? But I got like a firsthand example of what that feels like this week.
No, like I said, practice how you play. Like I won't go in, and that's why I had such a hard time putting away that release and picking up my backup release, right? Like it's the same release, same length, everything, but the tension's just set hotter. And so I had to get, or lower. So I literally had to give 3 or 4 clicks to the left, and then that's with the exact same release, and it was hitting different.
Yeah.
The neck on releases make a huge difference on your draw lengths. That's why guys when they shoot a wrist rocket, they generally leave the strap long, and then they'll leave it like, so the actual release is clear out here. When I build a release strap or wrist strap for guys, I'll make it so it's like almost awkward putting it on their D loop, because once you get it on and you start drawing, you put tension on that, then all of a sudden it sucks down here and you can get your finger wrapped around it. But yeah, every release will essentially make you anchor in a different spot.
Yeah.
And so that's a big one too for draw lengths, because my hinge, my HBC, it's got such a short neck on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I literally could probably shoot 32.5 with that release and still anchor pretty normal, just because of how short that neck is compared to other releases.
Yep.
And D loops play a factor too. There's a lot to tinker with.
For sure. How did your second day go in comparison
Second
to
day
your
was good. I
first?
shot a pretty good day on the second day. I shot a 295.
Hmm.
I think I shot 295 18x. Um, I had two shots get away from me. I shot two bad shots that I don't feel like I should have shot. I should have let down on. So I probably should have finished around a 297. But that felt like a good day to me.
Yeah,
Saturday did.
that's a
Saturday
great.
felt good. I went out, shot good. Like I said, it's a pure bow hunting setup, and I figured it'd be really hard to shoot a 300 my first year back at Vegas in a
For
really long
sure.
time. But I was going into Sunday after shooting Saturday feeling like I could shoot a 300.
Yeah,
That's how good Saturday felt. So
that's awesome.
yeah,
How many times do you think you let down, like over the tournament? You shot 90 arrows. How many of those do you think you had the wherewithal to recognize what was going on and you actually let down?
I let down probably 5 times,
That's pretty good.
5 or 6 times all
I
weekend.
I let down one time.
Yeah, no, it's so hard, right? Like, and it was after my first day, and again, like I said, I didn't really care that like what people, or I didn't beat people or whatever. I just like I embarrassed my own self on the first day after that release went off, and I was like, I just shot a 290. Like, holy crap, I haven't shot that low of a game in forever. I was
Yeah.
like, you suck. You should try sucking less. Like that's what I was telling myself
I'm gonna
going into.
I'm gonna save my scores for the end of this.
So I was telling myself that going into day two. I was like, all right, pull your head out, shoot what you normally could shoot. And day two felt good, but I still had 2 times in day two where I should have let down, where
Mhm.
I felt like I was pulling so hard, and then my pin dropped below the yellow. And when I drop out of the yellow, I usually let down, because then I start to get that itch to drive
Yep.
by, come up and yank it out of the top, And so I didn't let down those 2 times, and I executed two terrible shots, and it cost me. Like
Yeah.
it really did. It cost me a couple points where I shouldn't have, lost those points. But yeah, no, it's a really hard thing to do. It takes a lot of
This takes discipline.
discipline to let
It
down.
takes discipline is what it is. I can think of probably. Well, I was driving home the other day, and I was thinking back through it. I'm like, yeah, I can think of at least probably 3 or 4 the first day, at least probably at least that many the second day, and then the third day I actually did what I will say one of the best feelings ever in the world. And this is just like a small win. I'm all about small wins, but third day I had one. It was my third arrow, and I can't even remember what end, but I was like, this is not coming together. I was super long, and I take a long time anyway. Like I was long in the hold and extra long, I should say. But I was like, you know what? Just let down. So I let down, kind of regrouped, and I was butting up against the clock. I think my final arrow when it went off, I probably had like 8 seconds on the clock after that letdown, but I piped it.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, coming home, that was like one of my proudest moments. I was like, man, I exercised some discipline. I made the right decision. I, breathed through it, talked myself through it, and I executed an absolute, banger on that last shot. And I was giving myself,
Yeah.
pats on the backs. But I can think of a lot of them where I was just like, I should let down. Nah, I'm gonna force it. And I forced it, and it did not end up well.
That was all of Sunday for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope. Yep.
So I get it. It's interesting talking to you because we had real similar experiences. So my first day, kind of similar to yours. Second day, even though I only shot 1 point better on my second day, I shot way more X's, and I felt like I aimed a whole lot better. Like
Yeah.
I felt a lot stronger the second day. The third day, Sunday, I went to the practice range about an hour and a half before my line time, which I think was at 2:30, I want to say. And I walked out of there just going, this is going to be the worst round of my life. Like I am like red to red. I am all over. I am scaring the hell out of the yellow ring because I'm shooting all around it. And I was like, this is going to be terrible. And I walked into the room there, and I was just like, I'm going to have to really, really work hard. And I will say that Sunday was an absolute grind. Like every single freaking arrow sucked.
Yep.
I was telling some guys as I was leaving, just after I finished, actually, they're like, well, how'd it go? And I was like, man, I feel like I need a shower. Like I feel like I just worked out for 3 hours.
Uh,
But yeah, that was it kind of like that for you?
Oh, Sunday was so bad. I woke up Sunday morning. I'm at the top of the flight and I'm sitting there like, and the nerves just got to me. Like before every
Hmm.
basketball game, I used to get the cold sweats really bad.
Yep.
And then like once I got in, like you're 2 minutes into the game after you make a shot or make a decent pass or something like that. You're like, oh, I'm okay. Um, I was like that the entire day. And then I actually went downstairs and I did a little practice like video with James Visser from Bow
Hmm.
Disciples. He's one of my buddies. And we were sitting there shooting together. And the whole time we were shooting, it was XX9, XX9. My last arrow was a 9 every time. And I'm like, okay, we're not doing this going into the competition. And lo and behold, my very first end XX9, next one XX9, next
Hmm.
one XX9. Like I shot 4 ends straight where I dropped 4 9s. Just I could not get out of it to save. I don't know what, and my shots were executing pretty good. Like I wasn't
Hmm.
executing terrible shots, but I was getting super frustrated. Like, and then I let it get to me, and I only ended up shooting a 291 on day three. Like it was bad, but like same thing, except instead of feeling like I need a shower, like I literally sat there after everybody left and I was sitting in the chair and like I had that feeling in my gut, like I was just sick to my stomach. Like I felt like I had done so bad.
Oh
Like, and
man.
it's for some people, like 291 is a good score, right?
Yeah.
Like, and kudos to them for shooting it. But like for me,
Yep.
I don't know, I've shot probably 3,300 games with my bow hunting setup with bow hunting arrows. So
Hmm.
like I know what I'm fully capable of.
Yeah.
And Sunday for me was not a display of that at all. Sunday was like I feel like I just fell apart. Like
Do you think
and
do you think it was mental? Do you think it was physical? Like, do you think, I mean, did you feel shaky? Did you feel like your thought process just wasn't there? Or,
I think it was all mental, to be honest.
yeah.
Like my physical shot process, like I said, those arrows felt good, right? Like they
Yeah.
felt good. I felt like I was breaking the same with my X's as I was with my nines.
Hmm.
Like I didn't feel like I was shanking shots or pulling shots really. They just weren't landing. And
Yep.
so I think what I took away from Vegas and my biggest takeaway from this tournament is I have to work on my mental game.
Hmm.
And I did this for a long time with free throws, right? Like free throws, I sucked at free throws for a while. Like one year I shot free throws and I think I made like, I don't know, 5 of them. And then that summer I played a lot of pickup ball and stuff like that because my dad used to go play every morning. I'd always go play with the old man.
Hmm.
And my dad would go play in the mornings and we'd play 3 times a week. And if you didn't make your free throw, you didn't get in and you didn't play. And so
Hmm.
like I would sit there for like 3 iterations of basketball and not get to play because I wasn't making free throws. My dad didn't feel sorry for me. He's like, sucks to suck, nerd. Like maybe you should try trying harder. And I'm like, okay. So I spent so much time working on a free throw routine and getting my free throws down. And then the following year, like in school ball, I was like a 90 something percent free throw shooter. Like I don't know if I missed a single free throw shoot
Wow.
or shot like my freshman year of high school. Like I was automatic.
Hmm.
Um, and so sitting there and I sat there for a while at the end of day three because one, I was frustrated with myself. Two, I wasn't mad at anybody but me.
Hmm.
I sat there and thought about it, thought about the way I felt, and I was like, okay, like I don't want to feel like this again. I don't want to do this again. And I was like, what I have to do is every day in practice, I have to shoot every single arrow like it matters. Like I have to shoot
Hmm.
every single arrow. Like that's my last arrow of the end. Like that's the 300 arrow. Um, and I have to execute them all the same way because
Yeah.
I'm the same way, right? Like when I shoot paper, I hate paper. I think it's like it's fun to go shoot those competitions and it really tests you, but it is mundane sometimes, right? Like you're just shoot
Yeah.
single spots the whole time, 20
Hmm.
yards. Um, I can't do that anymore. Like I have to go into every single practice session being like, okay, I'm shooting a 300 a day. Shoot every single arrow like I'm shooting a 300 and really focus. And the reason being is because next year, because I'm going back next year. When I go back next year, my goal is like I'm going to shoot a 300 next year. Like plain and simple, I'm doing it.
Yep.
And I in practicing and getting ready for that, I have to become stronger mentally. Like I
Yeah.
really do. I have to become stronger mentally. I have to be way more disciplined in my shot, because my shot wasn't disciplined as what it should be. Every arrow needs to be a surprise break, needs to be a good, complete, surprise
Yeah.
break. And I've just got to teach myself to hold into that,
Yeah.
hold that freaking line.
Yeah.
Got to.
Yeah. You'll do it. I mean, my last day was like a win for me, given how I shot in the practice and just like how unsteady I felt. I just felt weak. I just did not feel good. Like every shot was a battle, and I felt like for what I was working with, I felt like I did really well. Like I shot a 283 my last day, and I had probably, I bet I had 6 or 8 arrows that were like a line's width out,
Yeah, just barely out.
just barely out. And given how I was feeling that day, just like how the bow was aiming, I was really happy. So for me, it was definitely a different experience this year than it was last year. Last year, I hated it. Like I drove home, like I'm not doing that again. That sucked. I was like,
Yeah.
that wasn't even type 2 fun. That just was not fun at all. Like
Yeah.
I'm just pissed, you know?
Yeah. Oh, trust me. It's Sunday. I literally sat there in that chair and I was like, maybe I just don't have it in me to shoot good anymore. Like that's how I felt. I was like, maybe I just don't have it in me. Maybe I just really do suck now. Like, and I'm like, no, like that's not an excuse. Like I had one bad day. I'm not going to let one bad day completely ruin me. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to quit. The only time we lose is when we quit, right? Like that's when we lose. And I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to just lay it down because I sucked, at one tournament. Like like regroup, re-rally, and be better next time.
So that rounds out. The question is, Towson, why are we doing this? Like why what have you learned? Why are you doing it?
Well, so I have 2 reasons. I have one legit reason and I have one personal reason. One reason is because I shoot for the U.S. Army team now.
Okay.
I got picked up this year, so I'm shooting for them, which has been super fun, which has allowed me to get back into it. So one, I feel like I have to perform for those guys, because they did give me the opportunity, and I'm going to give them my best every time I go out there.
For sure.
But 2, my personal reason is I do this because when it comes time and you're on the mountain and you've spent all year waiting for a shot opportunity and you've worked half of September to get that shot opportunity, I'm not letting that opportunity go to waste.
For sure. Do you think it matters actually? So
100%.
I have people, tell me, they're like, you know what, this indoor paper game, 20 yards is stupid. Like it's dumb. Like anybody can shoot paper at 20 yards. Yep. 20 yards is a layup. Do you think it matters?
It matters 110%, because every person I've ever met that's ever said that to me, I've invited them to come shoot a paper face and they fall apart after the first end.
Yeah.
And it does matter. It's way harder than what you think.
Yep.
But like doing this has done nothing but made me a better archer, made me a better shooter. The hunting aspect, you don't get to be a better hunter by shooting your bow more. You get to be a better shooter by shooting your bow more. And I know a lot of people who are really, really good hunters that don't kill things because their shooting is not what their hunting skill level is, and vice versa. I know a lot of incredible shooters. I would say 3/4 of the people that were in that place with us are incredible shooters, and they're terrible at hunting.
90%, I'd say.
Garbage. You know what I mean? And so
sure.
I do this specifically just so because it is a lot of work. Any person that's ever come out west and has ever gone on over-the-counter unit to go try to shoot a big mule deer or shoot a big bull, like there is nothing easy about it. And honestly, you might only get one chance in all of September to kill an elk, like with your bow. You might only get one opportunity. And if that opportunity comes and you miss him because you haven't shot under pressure before and you haven't practiced, and you sail an arrow over top of a bull's back, or like in my case scenario, you watch a deer of a lifetime walk away because you can't shoot past 40, like it will haunt you for a long time, especially for guys back east that don't get to do this every year.
Yeah.
It eats at me, and I get to hunt elk every single year. You know what I mean? Like for some guys that this is maybe a once in a lifetime opportunity for them, and you messed up because you don't shoot enough. Like, yeah.
The other thing I like about shooting indoor and paper is that it gives me this window into like the details. Like I get to like focus on what it feels like to have my bow hand melt into the riser, like really have just a smooth grip, you know what I mean? Where I'm not putting any torque or pressure into it. I don't get that if I just go up to the local range and I walk through the field course and I shoot 2 or 3 arrows. I don't get the level of detail. I'm not thinking about it that way. Whereas if I'm shooting paper over and over, same spot, same distance, I'm like picking through details, like what should my grip feel like based on where that arrow landed, right? Like I'm evaluating as I go. Or like
Yeah.
release execution, like how much pressure do I have on my middle finger versus my third finger? How much pressure do I have on the barrel of the release? What's the tension in my rhomboid feel like? And it's like I can pick that apart because it is so repetitive, because it's
Yeah.
this, and I'm tracking score. So like all those little details, I feel like they matter, and then you can extrapolate those out into like field courses and bow hunting situations. You have muscle memory that's built into your body and your system that kind of takes over when things do get stressful.
I've told people it's like shooting a 300-meter target with a quarter MOA rifle, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I can take anybody and give them a quarter MOA gun, lay them down in the prone, and let them shoot a 300-meter target, and I guarantee you we're going to hit it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You take someone and give them an M4 with iron sights, shooting 5.56, and lay them down and tell them to shoot that 300-meter berm with iron sights. It is substantially night and day difference how much harder it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I went to sniper school, like literally the first day is you lay down, you shoot five groups of 5 shots. You have to put them all inside of a 2 centimeter, all 5 shots in a 2 centimeter circle. 4 of the 5 groups have to do that. And if they don't, you get sent home on day 0. You don't even get to go shoot the long guns. And that's the same thing with shooting like a Vegas face or shooting indoor paper, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you are literally going back to the very basics. It really does feel like you go back to essentially shooting an iron sight rifle,
Yep.
and you're literally practicing, and you have to get the same sight picture every single time. Everything has to be perfect
Mm-hmm.
every time when you execute. Otherwise, you're not going to hit that target.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, I don't know if you stayed and watched the shoot off, but like you have Bodie Turner who shot 90 X's, which is literally the first time ever in the
Ever.
history of the Vegas shoot, 60 years, someone shot 90 X's.
Yep.
And he got third place because he missed an X ring like by literally like
One
a
and a,
paper width.
yeah. Yeah.
Like,
NBA 1.5 centimeter X-ray. But
yeah, tiny. I mean, it's
tiny.
itty bitty. It's the size of the
Mm-hmm.
spider. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and he got third because he missed it by a paper width. Like
Yeah.
that's the difference between success and failure on the Vegas face.
Yeah.
It's not like shooting at an animal where you can, or an elk where you can be 6 inches high and 6 inches low and still catch high lungs or low lungs. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like we're talking centimeters.
Yeah. I do think, yeah, I think shooting paper, I mean, it does help you pick out a spot. You do have to aim middle. You have to find yellow. And like my case, that's all I can see is color, really. So I'm just aiming middle of yellow, but it does make you, acquire it, pick a spot, let it hover, and execute.
Yep.
Which,
That's my biggest problem I've seen with people on shooting animals is they aim at the whole elk,
yeah.
right? Like they literally are just like, oh, my pin's on the elk, I'm going to kill it.
Yep.
And just as well as anybody else, like if you don't put a perfect shot on an elk, like, yeah. See you bye.
Yeah.
Like you
For
want to
sure.
talk about a worse feeling than missing. Tracking an elk for 4 days and not finding it is terrible. Like don't wish
Yeah.
that on anybody. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
it helps you essentially lock in and be like, cool, I'm shooting this elk. I'm holding 2 inches off that shoulder blade. I'm perfect right there holding, here I go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You get to the click on your thumb release on an elk. And for me anyways, I'm like, you're dead, bud. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like when it gets to that moment, I feel so much more calm having shot tournaments and stuff like that. Cause that makes me way more nervous than animals do.
Yeah, it makes you more confident too, and confidence is everything. I mean,
Confidence.
it really is. Like if you're confident in your setup and you're confident in your shooting, and you put yourself in situations where your adrenaline's running high and you've still executed, you're like, yeah, this is over. It's like you said earlier, like, oh, you're dead. If I get to my
Yep.
click and you're in range, like you're dead. Like
Yep.
that's the best feeling in the world.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, that feeling is great compared to missing an animal and then spending the rest of your hunt thinking about why you missed. And there's nothing
Yeah.
worse than missing one shot and then getting a second opportunity and doubting yourself and doubting your setup and missing again.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that happen too.
Mm-hmm. For sure. What do you got planned for the year?
Oh, I've got a slower year this year. It's still busy, but it's slower.
Yeah.
Um, I've got Wyoming elk and deer, and I've got a couple goals this year for myself. I'm not hunting as many animals. I've shot a lot of elk with my bow. I've shot a lot of mule deer with my bow. My best muley is 192. My best elk is like 330, 331. I want big. Like
Yeah.
I want to break that 350 mark with an elk. So if I don't draw the area I'm putting in for here in Wyoming, then I'm probably going to go back to the wilderness and go play around in the wilderness
Yeah.
and see if I can't get on a big bull in there. And then I'm going to go chase some big deer, try to get on a big buck again, because it's been 3 or 4 years. I kind of quit hunting after that bad winter kill off,
Hmm.
and I kind of want to get back in there and shoot another one. So that's kind of my September. I'll put in for antelope. I usually draw antelope because I do kind of a guaranteed area.
Hmm.
So hopefully I've got antelope, elk, muleys to start off the season, and then I'm obsessed with whitetail right now.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do a tour to the east in November and go just
Hmm.
put the herd on some whiteys. So
We might cross paths.
yes, we will for sure. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
whitetail is quickly become my most favorite hunt of the year. It's different, it's tough. Um, a lot of people don't understand how much work goes into like, and that's what I love about whitetail hunting is like the work, like the
Hmm.
farming, the food
Yeah.
plot, the tree stands, the reading wind. Like there's people that won't hunt for 4 or 5 days just because the wind's blowing the wrong direction on their farm. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
there's so much that goes into it. I do love whiteys. Whiteys are fun, and it's something new for me. I've killed like 10 or 12 bucks now, but
Hmm.
like it's new for me. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I want to break that 150 barrier. I got real close last year, shot a 149,
Yeah.
and it's not always about score for me, but it's just like it's essentially setting a bar for myself. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like I want to shoot a good big mature animal,
For sure.
and I want to shoot, if I've got the time to do it, I'm going to try to shoot a big critter. So,
No, I know what you mean. And people that might be listening, it's not, and I know this because I feel the same. And I know you, even though I don't know you well, I know you well enough to know that it's not the inches, it's the
no,
experience.
yeah,
It's,
100%.
it's the work that it takes to kill an
Yeah.
animal like that. That's the payoff.
Yeah. No.
Like
And
when,
that's, yeah, I can go out and I could probably be tagged out on a raghorn. If you gave me 3 days back home, I could
Mhm.
probably be done
Yep.
every year. And it's like what we said with rifle hunting, right? Like I've shot 24 bulls now with a bow. Like I've shot a lot for my age anyways.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? There's guys out there who killed substantially more than me. But like for me, it is 5 times as hard, 5 times as more challenging to shoot that 300 and up category on a general season tag. Because
Mhm.
I've never drawn a type 1 tag.
You
I've
never
never
have?
I've never drawn a type 1 tag. I've
Wow.
never had a special draw tag. Every animal I've ever killed has been over the counter
Mhm.
general season animal. Like every single one of them, besides whitetails, I've killed whitetails,
Yeah.
back east on in farms and stuff like that. But like, yeah, everything's been an over the counter tag for me.
Well, that makes me
And
feel pretty
so,
good because I have drawn a limited entry tag that wasn't a general season tag in Wyoming. So I've done something that you haven't.
yeah, no, 100%. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's hard, but like, yeah, I don't, and this is what's stupid. And this is how bad my odds are. The area I put in for is like 33% draw for residents, and I've put in for 12 years now
No
and
way.
have not drawn that tag. I have buddies that have drawn it 3 years in a row, and I haven't drawn it in 12 years.
That's
So I just have the worst
wild.
odds ever. But yeah, but no, it's back to what you're saying. It's substantially harder and way, way
Mhm.
more challenging to kill a big, big mature bull. Compared to just shooting any elk. And so that's why I'm doing it. Like it is a challenge to myself to go out there and go kill, that 350 plus mark. Like
Yeah.
I might not even see a 350-inch bull this season. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
that's how hard it is.
Yep. The work, the amount of work and effort you put into is equal to the amount of elation that you feel when it comes together. And
Yep.
I know for me, I've killed some big animals. I killed a buck. I'm trying to remember how many years ago it was. He's like 183 inches, but it was one of the easiest hunts I've ever done. And although I feel great about that buck, it doesn't hold the same meaning that, another buck does that I poured 17 or 18 days into and just absolutely worked my ass off for.
Yeah. Oh,
So
100%.
yeah, no, I get it. That's cool. I'm stoked to see how you do. You've got to get to a shoot tonight, so I'm going to cut you loose. You've been very kind with
Uh,
your time.
no, I appreciate you letting me come on, and yeah, no, we'll have to meet up back east this
For sure.
fall and go chase some whiteys. Yeah,
Get together and have a burger and compare
I'm,
notes.
I'm saving all my points for or all my time off for November this year. I'm doing the exact opposite. I'm going to kind of
Yep.
weekend hunt, war game my September, so that way I don't burn a ton of leave, and then put in a bunch of leave for November and go
Mhm.
try to get a few big bucks on the ground anyhow. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Congrats on a good weekend. I mean, I know that
You
you
as
were.
well, man. Like I said, it doesn't matter for people that listen. It doesn't matter what you shoot at Vegas, right?
Mhm.
It matters what your expectations are when you go in there, and did you meet your expectations? Did you meet your goal for the weekend? For some people, a 250 is an incredible
Mhm.
score, and kudos to them. You know what I mean? They shot their very best,
Yep.
and like I said, that's all I can ask of myself is to shoot my best. Like I'm disappointed because I didn't shoot my best and I didn't
Yep.
do what I know what I can do, but you live and you learn. I have a
Mhm.
ton of takeaways, a ton of stuff to work on moving into this season, and we'll come out of it, better
Better.
off. So yeah,
For sure. Yeah, I mean, my experience, I did not shoot to my. I told you, I think before, I was about a 290 average. So I would go up to the local range. I'd shoot a few games a day. I was somewhere between like 288 and maybe like 293, 294, somewhere in that range, right? A lot of games that were like 290. I didn't meet my average, but I also that was my expectations. But reality is that you get there and you get nerves and things happen. And I don't shoot leagues. I don't shoot with people. I mean, that was literally this weekend was the first archery shoot that I've shot. Well, I've shot two now in 2 years, if
yeah,
that
no,
tells you
that's
anything, with somebody else. So it's not a game that I play often, but in the regard that I felt like I showed up, I shot a lot of really good arrows. I shot some that weren't good that I shouldn't have shot. I learned a lot. Ultimately, I'm satisfied with the experience, and I'll be better. Like I'm a better shooter, now than I was before I went. So
yeah. Another thing to try next time too is take notes.
for
I
sure.
actually took notes. Like I
Good.
actually wrote down on my phone, and I actually wrote down and was like, I wanted to capture what I did wrong, so in that way, when I come back, I can work on it because
Yeah.
there was a lot of things that I did wrong that I can work on and be better for, and I don't want to forget what those things are. Like I want to address them head on and fix those things, so that way I don't,
Hmm.
do it again. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Take notes. Good advice. Where can people find you if they want to follow
I'm
along?
terrible. I need to get better at social media. I kind of dropped off. I did a big
You,
hiatus for like 4 months, so
you
I
couldn't be more terrible than me.
I haven't posted since December, so like
Well,
I'm bad. But no, my Instagram is just Towson_Jenkins, and Facebook is Towson Jenkins as well. So that's pretty much all I'm on right now.
cool.
I have done a couple YouTube videos with
Hmm.
Elk Shape and Joel and MFJJ and those guys. So if you type in my name, you can find me there. Did some stuff with Bow Disciples this weekend, so we should see some of that pop up soon.
Nice.
And I actually am going to be very dedicated this year to filming hunts and getting those put up.
Cool.
One for me, but two, my daughters. They asked me. They're like, "Hey, Dad, we want to see your stuff." And so I
Yeah.
was like, I want for them to be able to go on there and watch, and because they love it, they love being able to go on. They think I'm the coolest person in the world because I'm on.
Yeah.
So I'm
You
going to
are,
give them
man.
some stuff to watch on YouTube. But
Yeah.
yeah,
No, that's
we need
cool.
more. We speaking of YouTube though, we need more Go Hunt films. So
Yeah, I mean, we sat down together, staff, maybe a couple of weeks ago, and laid out a pretty lofty plan. So we'll see if we can,
we need them
get it
all.
together.
There's nothing more on YouTube I look forward to than when the new Go Hunt films come out. So
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
we we need more of those. I will speak for the entire audience as a whole. We need all of those.
Yeah, we have lofty goals, so we'll see how it goes. I mean, looking at people's season and kind of how we have things lined out, it should be a fun year. Like we should be able to produce some really good films. So I'm
Cool.
looking forward to it. I'm uh I'm a little selfish sometimes, and I'm like, I do like hunting alone without a camera guy in a lot of regard,
Yep.
but it is also good to have the days to get out and go hunting and do more hunts. So I might, it's a justifiable sacrifice, I feel like, on my part. So yeah, we should have a good year. But thanks, man. I really appreciate your time. Good luck tonight. I'm sure you'll smash them. So
appreciate it. Yeah, no, I'm 16 points up right now, so I got to go shoot a good night tonight so I can finish strong. So
you'll do
redeem myself from this weekend.
you shoot angry.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yep.
Okay, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep.